evening and welcome to Bridgewater-Raynham High School as the BR Trojans take on the Newton North Tigers. I'm John Luck alongside Brian Berard as these two teams are playing in the consolation part of the season here. Both teams coming off of a first-round loss in their respective tournaments. Newton North in Division I against Brockton, and the BR Trojans last week losing to Natick 28-7. Brian, a lot of people are going to look at the next 2 weeks here as a consolation game. It doesn't really mean much, but to the players and the coaches, it means a lot.
It does. It's just like Thanksgiving. You know, now when they went to the sectional play in football, Thanksgiving really doesn't have all that much meaning. So it gives some players that normally don't get out there a chance to get some playing time. And for coaches, you get to see what you have for next year and beyond, depending on, your underclassmen.
It should be interesting to see the development of the starting quarterback for the BR Trojans, Austin Hart. So we haven't seen him throw the ball a lot, so you have to think with these two games not really meaning a lot as far as records go, if Dan Biron's going to kind of loosen the reins on him a little bit.
Yeah, we've seen for the past couple years on Thanksgiving, especially, Dan Biron likes to open up the offense a little bit, use a lot of 3-receiver sets, sometimes even 4 receivers, just kind of give some different looks and just try some things for perhaps next year.
So Tyson Duncan and number 7, Chris Claflin, awaiting this kick, and we are underway on a frosty night here at the regional. Going to take a roll and picked up eventually by Dante Atwood, and Atwood eluding a couple of defenders, and he'll get pulled down just shy of the 15-yard line, over the 10-yard line, rather. So Newton North starting out around their own 11.
Yeah, those are kind of some tricky returns that you have to do. You go towards one of the far sidelines, and if you sometimes reverse field like you just saw that Newton North just tried to do, you can get a big gain out of it. And luckily for Bridgewater, they were able to stop it.
Newton North can certainly score the ball very quickly. A couple of scoring drives last week against Brockton, a 71-yard scoring drive that took only 3 plays, and a 74-yard scoring drive that only took 4 plays. They are led by their captain, senior quarterback, Andrew Landry. First play of the game is a running play up the middle for a couple yards here.
See Newton North at the beginning, 3 receivers to kind of spread them out. You have a receiver coming in motion just to try to get some mismatches on the front 4 for Bridgewater-Raynham.
So far in the regular season here, a couple of their big running backs, Evan Thompson, 39 carries for 284 yards. Matthew Morris, 63 carries for 244.
5 receiver set, really spreading them out now.
Empty backfield here for Landry. And the running play goes to Duncan. As Duncan goes to the far side, he gets pushed out. Going to be a loss of about 3 or so on the play.
Kind of try to go with a fly sweep right there. 5 receivers, spread out that defense. You have your slot receiver to your right coming in towards the backfield. For a runner, if you can't get around the edge, it's going to be a busted play. I think the point of that is you see a gap and you're going to cut upfield. Bridgewater-Raynham, especially on that far side, did an excellent job of making sure that he couldn't really get upfield.
And third and 10 for the Tigers. Split wide both sides. Trips to the right side.
So Duncan lost whatever yards the Tigers gained on that last play. So third down, Tigers going to be throwing here. A deep pass that is going to be knocked away. Some nice defense there in the secondary by number 25, Brian Merlino.
Yeah, great job right there from Merlino. The pass is kind of underthrown just a little bit, but the quarterback got hit. As we take a look at the replay, maybe not. The quarterback kind of got hit right as he threw that one, so maybe didn't quite get enough oomph onto that throw as much as he really wanted to.
So the Trojans should have some good field position to open things up here. Anthony Morrison and number 5, William Lombard. A bulk of the offense for the BR Trojans this season. We do have a steady breeze going through the regional here, and this is going to take a Newton North bounce and roll to around the 37. As we go back and look at some of the nice secondary play there by Merlino.
Yeah, like I said, the ball's underthrown just a little bit. If you can lead the receiver a little bit more, you had Merlino diving to try to stop that. If you can lead him a little bit more, that might be a touchdown for the Tigers.
So sophomore quarterback Austin Hartzell coming out and telling his offense to play here for their first offensive drive of the night. Matthew Brown lined up to the far side. And Morrison's going to be the motion man on this first down play. Hartzell, after dropping the ball, took a knee to pick it up to save the fumble.
Looked like it was a good snap, just dropped it. You know, sometimes with cold weather, even if you have those gloves on, if the ball just gets a little really slick, we'll take a look at the replay. If it gets really slick, you can drop that. But it looks like he was kind of looking upfield before he actually had the ball in his hands.
So right now on my phone it says it's 34 degrees, but you factor in the wind and it feels like the 20s out there. So this has to be the coldest game so far this season for the BR Trojans.
Loss of 5 on that play.
So on second down, the give is to Lombard. Gets those yards back, and he's going to get a few more. Gets the first down across midfield. Trips over his own feet up to the Newton North 46.
Good run right there. We've seen Bridgewater-Raynham all year just kind of do those pitches to Hartzell, and he's able to find his edge. You take a look at the replay here. Excellent work here on the outside by your receivers, getting those blocks, especially on those edge rushers for the Tigers. You have Bridgewater-Raynham's able to get into Newton North territory.
Lombard a couple weeks ago against Dennis Yardmouth, 160 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns.
34-yard rush.
Time continues to tick down here, down to 9.5 to go in the first quarter. Handoff again goes to Lombard, but Newton North had that one snuffed out.
Excellent job right there. Newton North just kind of busting it right into the backfield really quick.
BR for a long time now has been a really run-heavy football team here, so don't expect to see a lot of passing. A couple weeks ago on this football field, the team got Danbier on his 200th career win. Looking for win 201 here tonight. Morrison was the motion man. Hand up straight up the middle to the fullback there, Michael Rubo.
Keep them honest a little bit. You go to the fullback. You know, they're expecting you to go to, Morrison a lot and Lombard, but, you keep them honest a little bit with going to the fullback there. Quick hitter. Works out almost every time.
Michael Rubo has kind of come on as a very powerful part of this offense here. We saw him help out Morrison and Lombard for about 300 yards of rushing a couple weeks ago. On third down, handoff goes to Lombard, and he's going to spin his way for the first down, taking half of the Newton North defense with him to around the 31.
Great run right there, about 10 yards right there from William Lombard. He really wanted to go to the outside. He saw a hole, cut it in towards the middle a little bit, and he just kind of kept those legs going and going and going for the 10-yard run, another first down. 6th play of this drive coming up here for the Trojans. You see right there, he wanted to go to the outside. It was an excellent job right there from Dante Atwood for the Tigers to keep him in, but Lombard just kept finding open daylight, kept his legs moving.
The running backs through the years, when you talk about BR, it's always those yards after contact. Something that Dan Biron has preached here, and now on first down, a new set of downs for the Trojans. Morrison was the motion man. Hart's going to throw for the first time tonight, and that one's going to be a little too long there for Morrison.
Yeah, I think he was trying to find Morrison on an out route and maybe thought he was going to run more towards that pylon. But he got great protection right there, especially on his blind side.
So I'm trying to go back in my head here through that Dennis Yarmouth game, the last game that we saw here on BTV. It took a long time for Hartzell to get that first pass called, and we're seeing the first passing play here with about 7.5 to go in the first quarter.
That's because the run game has really worked out well for Bridgewater-Raynham so far.
On second down, Matthew Buron comes around to the near side here. Again, Morrison, the motion man, gets the ball here on second down, and Morrison's going to take this one to the house for 6. A 31-yard run for Anthony Morrison.
There he goes. He kind of comes on a little bit of a sweep again through that backfield, sees a hole, cuts it upfield, and he's like shot out of a cannon. Take a look right here. There he goes in motion. Kind of fly sweep. Sees the hole off the edge, cuts it upfield. Good juke right there. Tyson Duncan really had no option but to just watch Morrison run right by him.
When balls are eating there, number 77 helping out on that offensive line for Morrison to get a hole, and Newton North jumped early, I do believe.
The neutral zone infraction, it looks like.
Anthony Morrison has certainly turned into Mr. Touchdown for the BR Trojans. I believe a 4-touchdown game against New Bedford, had a couple touchdowns 2 weeks ago against Dennis Yarmouth.
And we have another infraction on Newton North.
I mean, at some point, the stick is just not going to be able to move anymore.
That's why I think Bridgewater-Raynham's going to start. They're going to go for 2 here. Inside the 1-yard line, why not?
Certainly makes sense with the running game that you have. Morrison and Lombard in the backfield.
So that was a 7-play, 68-yard drive for Bridgewater-Raynham. Took about 3.5 minutes, a little over 3.5 minutes off the clock here in the first.
So Morrison's going to be the quarterback on this play here. A little more size than Hartzell, so he's going to take this one to the goal line, depending on the spot here. Let's see, and I think they're going to give him the 2.
They are. Just kind of go right behind your, one of your guards there. Just lower your head and just keep driving forward. See that so often with Tom Brady. You get that quick snap, and it's the battle of the line.
So a drive that was predicated solely on the run. William Lombard, 44 yards on that drive, and the drive was capped off by a 31-yard run by Anthony Morrison.
And there was only one pass attempt there, and that was an incomplete pass trying to find Morrison.
I think this was the interesting thing to see how BR comes out on the first offensive drive, losing that playoff game against Natick. Maybe, at first you would have thought maybe they don't have their heads at the game here.
Yeah, I mean, that could definitely be a point. I mean, a lot of times you see you're playing in a game that it means very little. I mean, in terms of standings, there's nowhere, either these teams are going to go off to Gillette Stadium to play in the Super Bowl. You're kind of just playing for pride, and you're really trying to, especially for the underclassmen, you're really just trying to work on your mechanics.
Squib kick, almost fumbled there by Newton North, but they're going to start from their own 41-yard line.
That actually helped out Newton North because they're going to have great field position.
After a 3-and-out to start things off for the Tigers. Who again lost to Brockton last week, 48-14 in the City of Champions.
I believe that is the third mutual. This is going to be the third mutual opponent that Newton North and Brockton and Bridgewater-Raynham will play. Both obviously played. Oh boy, here we go. I knew this was going to happen.
Don't try and think of the microphone.
Zavarian and Duxbury.
On first down, the running game doing absolutely nothing for the Tigers. And we get a flag.
Someone said something. It's going to go on Bridgewater-Raynham. Costly penalty. First penalty of the game.
I think that was number 24, Matt Morris, who was on the carry there. And as the referee was blowing his whistle, I think BR was still continuing to push Morris back.
It's unfortunate. BR on the first drive defensively forced a 3-and-out. You had a negative 1-yard run, and now 15 yards.
So Morris in the backfield here on first down as Newton North goes into BR territory. And that one is going to be caught around the 38 there by Evan Thompson. Thompson works his way to around the 25-yard line.
So Newton North going to try and go a little bit of hurry up here.
Landry this season just over 1,600 yards passing in the regular season.
Good pass right there. You had a couple of Trojans colliding with one another. Looks like Raul Sanjay and Tyler Newman kind of collided with each other, trying to go for the tackle.
Full receiver set, Thompson on the near side. On first down, Morris gets the ball, takes up the middle for a small gain there inside the 25 up to around the 24.
No, BR so far is up to the task on run defense, especially that front four.
As we approach the 6-minute mark in this first quarter between BR and Newton North. Alessio Calgani, number 1 on the far side of your screen there. 3 receivers lined up on the near side for the Tigers. Early jump there, and
You
know it's going to get a little closer.
Newman. Excuse me, number 6 for the Trojans, Tyler Newman, went into the neutral zone. But I thought he got back in time, but referee says no.
The men in the stripes always had the final say.
Second penalty on BR, now Newton North in the red zone.
So BR has certainly helped out Newton North on their second offensive drive. Landry on the run. He's just going to let this one fly, and that is going to be intercepted. Number 14, Ryan Cruikshank.
Don't know why he really threw that one up. I mean, you were about to have what we were going to have called a coverage sack. Everyone in Bridgewater-Raynham, they're in that zone defense. They're just sitting there. As you see here, the interception again, and he kind of just throws up a duck out there, just kind of throws a knuckleball. Everyone in Bridgewater-Raynham is just sitting back waiting. And they know that there's a receiver for Newton North in their area, so they're going to cover wherever that ball is going to go. At that point, you just got to throw the ball away. You got out of the sack, you get out of the pocket, you just throw the ball away, and you keep the ball. But now Bridgewater-Raynham has it at the 20-yard line.
So the BR defense has really decided the momentum here. A couple of early flags, and then the interception there by Ryan Cruikshank. So now the Trojans back out on offense here with an 8-0 lead. Pitch goes to Lombard, who goes on the near side. And he's going to get the first down and a few extra up to around the 40-yard line for about a 20-yard pickup.
Great run right there. Once again, William Lombard just refusing to go down. Gets to the edge once again. Gets near the near sideline. Breaks into these arm tackles. We'll take a look again at the replay. Let's see. You got 1 tackle, 2 tackles that he's forced. 3 missed, 4. And it takes the 5th and 6th Tiger to actually bring down William Lombard. Good 20-yard run, though.
As we go under the 5-minute mark in the first quarter, Matthew Bjorn again lines up on the far side. The pitch goes to Lombard. Goes into Newton North territory, and he's about to go into the end zone. Nobody left for the Tigers to stop William Lombard.
Here's that pitch yet again. He gets in the open field, just turns on the afterburners.
60 yards for the senior running back.
Once again, there's the pitch. Goes to the outside. Waiting for a hole to open up. There it is. Good blocks on the right side of that line for BR. Just just shot out of a cannon. And Anthony Busa trying to give chase, but Morrison a little too fast for him. Excuse me, Lombard.
And just like that, BR on top, 15-0.
And the Trojans lead 15-0.
So the BR running game has certainly done a good job here getting some early points against the Tigers.
Now, as I said, John, in the pregame, you try to do some different things, but for BR, they've been doing this all year, and it's worked so far in the first 2 drives here for the Trojans.
I believe the phrase is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. As again, the wind is swirling around here, so it's going to be a low kick. Starting from Newton North's own 25 here. This is going to be number 10, Dante Atwood.
There's a flag on the play. May have a block in the back.
By the Trojans, that will be spotted.
I think usually 10 times out of 10 if you have a flag on a return. Yeah, block in the back.
10 times out of 10, that's good odds.
Yeah, it's very rare is it on the kicking team.
I think people would be more impressed if it was on the kicking team.
I don't think they would.
No?
Especially those coaches. I don't think they would.
Well, I didn't say they would be happy about it. 4:20 to go in the first quarter here as BR jumped us out to an early 15-0 lead thanks to a 60-yard run by William Lombard and a 31-yard run by Anthony Morrison.
And the foul is against Newton North, moving the ball back to the 25-yard line.
Trojans will be home next week taking on Whitman Hanson in another consolation round game. There's going to be a sweep here as Evan Thompson gets a small gain of about 1 yard or so.
Newton North has tried that play several times tonight, and they just really haven't been able to find the holes like Bridgewater-Raynham has been able to find when they go out in the flat like that.
The rushing game for Newton North has been kind of tricky here. Evan Thompson is the leading, or typically on his carries, averages about 8 yards a carry. Tigers have trips to the near side. Landry really no drop back as that one's going to be bobbled and dropped. Critic Carlo Cressetti there on the stop.
And when Newton North spreads out like that, the 5 receivers, I'm surprised they're not trying to run Landry a little bit more. When you spread out that defense so thin like that, there sometimes is going to be gaps, especially up the middle, for a quarterback to run through.
So Landry so far tonight, only a 21-yard pass. He's had 1 interception and 2 incomplete passes. Now facing a 3rd and 8. Landry with a deep drop back, and he almost gets dropped, but somehow breaks free. And Landry, that's going to be a small loss, and some late pushing and shoving.
It's great work from Ryan Rubenskis, was the first one to get in the backfield to really disrupt that play. But again, that was a good job, especially from the Bridgewater-Raynham secondary. You see that the quarterback may be sacked, so your first, your initial reaction is to come up, kind of try to celebrate or whatever. But they see that the quarterback gets out. You take a look at the replay. You see that the quarterback gets out, and now you have to come back into coverage again. And it was a great job by the Bridgewater-Raynham defensive secondary.
So the defense for the Trojans came to play early on. And that's going to roll right out around the 43-yard line. As we go back and look at Landry really having a difficult time with this defensive line for the BR Trojans. Almost gets taken down for what would have been a really deep loss.
And that was a great job from Landry just to even get to that point.
Morrison lines up on the near side. Beer onto the far side. Lombard in the backfield on this first down play. Hartzell completes the pass to the far side, and Buron should be really close to the first down marker depending on the spot.
I think they are going to give him the first down.
By about a yard or so.
First completed pass for the Trojans so far.
An 11-yard reception for number 11 as the clock's going to start ticking down again from 2:42. Split receiver look with Morrison as the motion man. Handoff to the fullback there for really no gain. That was Rubo with the carry. Called about a 1-yard gain. Going to bring up still a 2nd and long. As we approach the 2-minute mark in the first quarter, BR on top 15-0 on a chilly light night here at the regional.
You got chilly right. It's I'd say cold.
Have I gotten a lot wrong tonight?
31 degrees. It's actually freezing.
Below freezing. 2nd down, the pitch to Lombard. Comes to the near side. And Lombard still on his feet, bouncing back and forth. Inside the 10, up to around the 5-6 yard line.
Alec Jones tried to just arm tackle William Lombard right there, and he just said, "Get out of my way." Just stiff-armed him to the ground. What a run by William Lombard. Take a look again. You're going to see 51 for Newton North. He's going to try and arm tackle him, and this is going to be one of the best stiff arms you're going to see. Here comes the contact. Ready? Get out of here, he says. Cuts in towards the middle of the field. What a run.
Lombard already having quite the night here. Already over 100 yards rushing in the first quarter.
Not bad.
Hartzell under center. The give was to Rubo, and Rubo's going to get taken down for a loss to around the 8-yard line.
That time Newton North was ready for that quick handoff to the fullback.
And you look forward to next year and the running game for the BR Trojans. Anthony Morrison, Michael Rubo. You have to imagine if those two can continue the climb that they're on in their high school careers, it's going to be very impressive to see what happens for the BR offense.
Absolutely, and Bridgewater-Raynham just seems to know how to find these running backs.
Handoff goes to Lombard. Why not? Lombard gets 6.
Just simple football, run right up the middle. Nothing too fancy there.
The Trojans are running all over Newton North here tonight, up to a 21-0 lead. As Liam Stewart comes on for the PAT. 1 for 1 so far tonight. And he is now 2 for 2. As we go back and look at the touchdown here for Lombard, 2nd of the night.
There you go, excellent blocking. You get from your left guard and your center, open up a nice hole. Lombard sees it, cuts it right up there. Run pretty much goes untouched until about the 2-yard line, has to dive.
In the past, I've read in newspapers the BR Trojans running backs and the BR coaches, Dan Bioron points out as well, the running game is so powerful for this team because of what the offensive line does for them. And you saw it a lot on that drive, like you said.
So many times when you see such a good running back, you see such a good running game, the offensive line really gets very little to no credit. And if it's mostly because of them. They're the ones that are opening up the holes. Now, granted, a lot of times Bridgewater-Raynham, their runs are going to the outside, and your receivers are doing a good job of blocking. But when you try to do those quick hitters to your fullback, you need the offensive line to open up the holes. And that front five for Bridgewater-Raynham on offense is doing a tremendous job so far here in the first quarter.
Stewart going to kick this one away to around Newton North's own 14-yard line. Chris Claflin still on his feet, working his way closer to midfield, but gets taken down around the 45, 46-yard line with 9 seconds to go in the first.
Nice little run right there from Claflin. Maybe just something to get something going for Newton North.
Tough night early on for Andrew Landry. An interception, 2 incomplete passes, only has 21 yards passing, and has really put himself in some sticky situations so far tonight.
And you can thank Bridgewater-Raynham for that. Pretty much their defense, and they're doing a good job of covering out there in the secondary, and you know their front is really getting a lot of pressure in the backfield.
Handoff goes to Thompson, and Thompson's going to get about a 4-yard gain to end the first quarter. And quite the first quarter for the BR offense, jumping out to a 22-0 lead. taking advantage of that Newton North interception early on.
Yeah, pretty much the story of this first quarter, John. Briard just keeps running and running and running, and Newton North really hasn't had an answer for it. There's been a couple of times where they've stopped him, and they stopped him on one passing attempt. But other than that, I mean, Bridgewater-Raynham is really just having their way. They're winning the battle of the line, especially offensively and defensively.
As mentioned earlier, these two teams lost their first-round matchup. But certainly some interesting semifinal matchups to look at here in Division I South. Catholic Memorial taking on BC High, and Franklin taking on the Brockton Boxers. Meanwhile, in D2 South, you have Natick taking on Wellesley, and maybe the game of the second round here, Mansfield taking on King Philip. That should be a fun one for high school fans.
That has been quite the rivalry the past few years here in Division II South.
A 4-receiver set. Newton North. Here's a handoff for about a 2-yard gain, 3-yard gain rather, as we open up the second quarter. That was Morris on the carry.
There's going to be a 3rd and short here, about 3rd and 3. Your playbook is pretty much wide open still if you're Newton North. You can still run the ball right here.
You'd have to think that's where that Thompson sweep might come into play here on a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 situation. Tigers showing an empty backfield here.
Spread out BR. There's a hole up the middle here. Philandry wants to run through it.
Landry quick packs over to the near side, and Claflin, but Claflin just got leveled by Crosetti.
What a tackle right there. Just comes up. That's a perfect form tackle. You lower your shoulder, you wrap up, you go after the legs. You're going to see it right here again on the replay. They should show this to every single player on how to tackle. Lower your shoulder, wrap up, and drive him to the ground. That is how you tackle.
So now the Tigers really in no man's land here, so they're going to basically have to go for it on 4th down. Again, showing an empty backfield.
It's not that they're in no man's land. You're seeing that the game is starting to slowly get away.
Landry on 4th down. He holds the ball, and he goes down with the ball.
Again, great work from the Bridgewater-Raynham secondary. You're not making any Newton North receiver can get open.
Ryan Rubenskis with the stop, and now, just like that, BR back out on offense thanks to their defense. So now our Trojans offense with William Lombard, who already has well over 100 yards rushing in the first quarter. 3 in the backfield. Handoff is to Morrison. Morrison wants to get a few yards here. First down, a lot more, working his way close to Newton North territory, but the ball comes out around the 15-yard line. Newton North says they have it.
They do.
And they do.
That might be another thing here for Newton North to try to get something going in their favor.
And looks like the change of that is fumbled and recovered by the Tigers. First and 10, Newton North.
See who creates the fumble here for the Tigers. Looks like, I believe that was number 51, Alec Jones, was able to get in there and get his mitt in there and just poke that ball free.
Right now, a swirling wind around the regional. Certainly putting the passing game into question here for the Tigers.
Shotgun formation for the Tigers.
And Newton North is going to have to call a timeout here, as I think that was Dante Atwood who was a little slow to get back out on the field.
Yeah, only had 10 players offensively on the field for the Tigers. Usually not going to work out in your favor. I mean, you could, I don't know, could be something new. I'm not claiming to be a football mastermind.
It's almost like me saying that you would have been impressed if it was defensive block in the back on a punt return.
Yes. We'll go with that. Close enough.
So certainly Newton North is playing with fire here. If you come up empty again on offense, you're really putting yourself behind the 8 ball here.
Absolutely. I think that's why they went for it on 4th down. You know, you really weren't in no man's land. It was easily going to be a manageable punt, but I think you're slowly seeing we need to get back in this game. We need to do something to get some points on the board. Obviously, this game's not over. There's a lot of football left to be played, but you're seeing how BR is moving the ball. You just saw on that last drive, you know, it resulted in a fumble, but BR has been able to move the ball on Newton North.
Should be worth noting here, Trojans get the ball first in the second half. Another sweep here by the Tigers, and that's going to blow up in the Tigers' face as Tyson Duncan tried to get fancy, but he visits the turf.
Again, trying to go to the outside, sees nothing. He thinks maybe if I can reverse the play up and go towards the other side of the field, nothing there still. Excellent job. You're going to see a look at the replay right here. Comes in from the fly sweep, sees there's nothing there. Well, let's try doing so. Uh-oh, there we go.
There's that man again, Rubenskis, with a stop. He's certainly been a thorn in Newton North's side after the 8-yard loss. Morris flanked on Landry's left. On second down, Landry going to throw this one, and that's going to be incomplete. It goes out of bounds. Again, some nice secondary play there by the Trojans.
You're trying to just do like a fly route there on that far sideline. I wonder if the wind definitely had to get a little bit of that. He threw that way up in the air, and the wind right now is going from that near sideline to the far sideline. Probably push it out of bounds enough, so really couldn't get any opportunity to catch that.
So now Newton North faced with a 3rd and 18 at their own 5-yard line. At the very least, the Tigers just need to give their punter some space.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if they try to run up the middle just to try to get any sort of yardage.
Andrew, you're going to throw here on 3rd down. That is going to be incomplete, intended for Matt Morris.
That was a good throw, wide open, had him in the hands. I think he just turned a little bit upfield before he actually caught the ball. Take a look. I think he was caught looking upfield.
Very surprisingly here, you're seeing a 22-0 game, and I understand that there's still a lot of time left, but these are a lot of juniors and seniors that are having a difficult time getting on the same page. As Lombard takes this punt return to Newton North's 29-yard line. Mentioned earlier, Dan Bjorn won his 200th career game here at the regional. The last time the Trojans played here against Dennis Yarmouth, it certainly had the town buzzing for a while. You saw the Gatorade bath to end the game. Pretty exciting moment here for the Trojans in what has been a trying season.
Yeah, it's one bright spot. I mean, Dan Bjorn has had a tremendous career here. He's coached at BR since the early 90s. He's won a couple of Super Bowls, got his 200th career win. Just needs to win at Gillette.
Rubo gets the first down carry, going to get a gain of about 7 or 8 on the play.
There you go again, just run right up the middle. Offensive line for BR opens up a hole.
Second and 11.
Austin Hartzell so far tonight, 1 for 2, 11 yards passing. On 2nd and 3, Bjorn lines up on the far side, and Morrison lines up on the near side. Rubo and Lombard in the backfield. Hartzell going to throw, and this one is complete to Morrison. And I think they're going to give him the forward progress there for the first down, so about a 5-yard completion there, Hartzell to Morrison.
Yeah, just a quick comeback. There's a lot of space here. The corner playing on him was playing about 5-6 yards away from him. Just a quick comeback, run for the first down. And those are just simple throws that can get the confidence of your quarterback up. You hit those quick hitters, Wide open field. You know, there's nothing really too complex about it. Really gets that passing attack going, especially with the wind right now.
Clock ticks down, under 8 minutes to go in the first half. Morrison, the motion man, and he gets the ball. On first down, Morrison across the 15 to the 10, and he's going to get stopped at around the 3-yard line.
Number 74 for BR, Kyle Hess, makes an excellent block in the open field to create that run. If he doesn't block his man, that's a negative run there for Bridgewater-Raynham. Excellent block right there from Kyle Hess. You'll see it right here. 74. He's going to come in the open field. There's that good block. You got enough contact right there on Thompson. And that's how you get all that open field there for Morrison.
We haven't really seen Lombard on this drive so far. It's been all Morrison. As the Trojans have a 1st and goal from the 2-yard line.
I like this call. I believe it was Morrison was the one that had the fumble, and you go back to him to get that confidence up, and he's running.
Hand off to Morrison. He zigs and zags into the end zone for 6. It's 28-0 in the first half. Anthony Morrison, his 2nd touchdown of the night. 48 yards rushing on 4 carries.
It's a 4-yard, 29-yard touchdown drive. Took exactly 2 minutes off the clock.
William Stewart on for the PAT. End over end, and Stewart is 3 for 3 tonight. On a cold night, the BR running game has been on fire.
This is football weather. This is the type of weather that linemen absolutely love. You know, so many times early in the season, you get those 70-degree days, and everyone says, "Oh, it's great football weather." It's for who? You know, maybe for your receivers and your quarterback, but you know, for the linemen, they love this kind of weather. Below freezing.
I say the same thing, so maybe that makes me a lineman.
We'll go with that.
Maybe a nose tackle.
Yeah, kind of Big Vince. You have good handwork, though, to get into the backfield, though. That's the question.
I mean, putting on the helmet's going to be difficult. I do have a big head.
Well, you can just get a bigger helmet.
True.
I'm more of a kicker myself. Just get away from me. Don't need to touch anything.
Stewart, a low kick that's going to be dropped around the 25, taken by Thompson. Thompson works his way across the 35 to around the 37. If you're Newton North here, you have to imagine the goal is just to get a couple of first downs here, because these offensive drives for the Tigers really haven't been doing anything, even taking time off the clock.
Newton North only has 1 first down that wasn't created because of a penalty.
Landry going to throw here. That pass is complete to Thompson for the first down and much more across midfield to around the 46.
What a 17-yard pass.
So I believe Thompson now has 38 yards receiving. Landry on the run here. Throws this one. That is going to be intercepted. Corey Ablard.
He ran that route better than receiver did. Just cut it off. Tries to get him as going towards that far sideline. Just picked it off. You'll see in the replay right here. He's going to be with him the entire way and just runs the receiver's route much better than the receiver does.
You can see after the play, Evan Thompson just crouching down. This has not been a good night if you're a Tiger. The second interception of the night for Andrew Landry. First down, the give is to Lombard, who picks up a short gain.
Lombard on the carry. Gain of about 1. Second and 9.
Time continues to tick down here, under 6 minutes to go in half number 1.
I believe Coach Bjorn's going to take a timeout. He is.
Timeout Trojans.
29-0 Trojans on top here in the first half, and this has really been a theme of the postseason for the MIAA. I did some research early on, and there were a couple of games in the North playoffs that were 1-point games, 3-point games. But really looking up and down, the average margin of victory in the first round was 23 to 30 points. 9 upsets in the entire North and South playoffs. That includes divisions 1 through 8.
I'm not a huge fan of this new system. I understand that they want to go to sectional play. I like the idea of it. You don't need 8 divisions. I mean, Massachusetts should not have more divisions than Texas in football. I mean, Texas has 5. There's no way Massachusetts needs 3 more.
It's pretty interesting. If you're on social media, Mike Lynch, the former sports anchor for Channel 5, has certainly been outspoken regarding the MIAA postseason play.
Well, we say former in air quotes. I think he works more now that he's retired.
That's true, yeah. The former full-time sports anchor? What that mean?
I don't know. He said he's retired, but he's still on TV. Maybe he was just bored.
As you see, William Lombard picking up another sizable gain there, about 15 yards. Straight through the middle. I believe this is Rubo on the carry. And they're going to give him the forward progress as he gets dragged back for about another 10 yards or so. But just to jump back to the MIAA situation here, what's the fix? Because if you think about it, the regular season ends at the end or at the beginning of October.
Simple fix is less divisions. You don't need 8 divisions again. I mean, 4. Well, maybe. I mean, in all of the sports, there's 3 in Massachusetts. I mean, go back to 3, maybe 4 divisions in football. You don't need 8.
And just from a scheduling standpoint, you would think that there'd be some way you can work it out. You have the first round the week before Thanksgiving, the sectional playoffs after Thanksgiving, like the way it always was. A lot of meaningless football record-wise being played across Massachusetts. Second and short for the Trojans. As BR letting some time tick off the clock. Hand off to Lombard, straight through the middle, parting the orange sea.
And when you have so many divisions in football, you're getting what you saw in, obviously the old OCL and the old Big 3, which merged the Southeast Conference, but you're seeing it in places like the Bay State, Hockomock. You have this one conference, but you have all these teams that are in different divisions, and it really makes 0 sense. I mean, now next year when these teams, when Bridgewater-Raynham finally officially joins the Southeast Conference for football and the Southeast Conference for every other sport, when you go to football, Brockton's Division 1, Bridgewater-Raynham's going to be Division 2, Dartmouth is going to be Division 3. Really makes no sense.
It's just been a weird year because there really haven't been any conference implications as you see Morrison and Hartselle colliding, but some way, somehow, Morrison gets a sizable gain, but I think this one's going to get called back.
I believe we're going to get a hold. Usually when the umpire throws the flag.
You can tell it's cold when a referee has earmuffs on.
Yeah, that's not a fun experience.
You'd think the beard would keep him warm.
Oh, yeah, still, the cold gets to the back of your neck, though. When it goes up your spine.
So I believe that's BR's second penalty of the night.
I have them for 3 penalties.
I was one off.
We can, split the difference, go 2.5.
There you go. On first down, Hartzell, a high throw. That's going to be a little too long there for Matthew Buron. Just the second incompletion for Hartzell, 2 for 4 tonight, 16 yards passing.
It's a nice idea. Maybe the wind got in the way a little bit.
We can see the trees across the field here, just going around in all different directions. So certainly the passing game going to be tested for both quarterbacks.
Yeah, too, especially because of the temperature too. That ball's a little bit more slick.
Second and long, the pitch goes to Lombard. Lombard, some quick feet to around the 25-yard line. Pickup of about 11 on the play. That was Lombard's 11th carry so far here in the first half with 2:24 to go.
John, as you mentioned too, Bihar gets the ball to start the second half.
Third and 1 for the Trojans.
And we've said it for close to 6 or 7 years here. There's always that one drive that takes a lot of time off the clock as Rubo is going to get the first down. Clock control is the name of the game for BR.
I mean, to run the ball like you have been for Bridgewater-Raynham all first half. I mean, you can control the clock.
Going down close to a minute and a half to go in the first half. The handoff goes to Morrison, who works his way to just shy of the 15-yard line.
Again, inside the red zone. There it is. I've been waiting for that graphic.
Next time you can just go ahead and ask for it, maybe.
Well, I figure if I just
throw a
hint out
curveball
there,
randomly on the 43-yard line, just say red zone and see what happens.
Mixing sports, I like this. Okay.
3 seconds and 5 for the Trojans.
So on second down, the handoff goes to Lombard, and Lombard goes inside the 10-yard line, up to around the 9.
Lombard on the play.
th play for the drive coming up here for the Trojans.
First down for the Trojans. It will be first and goal.
Over 6 minutes taken off the clock here for the Trojans.
So a first and goal from just inside the 10.
Open
this is
daylight,
Morrison, and Morrison has 3 touchdowns tonight.
No one had any idea where the ball was. Great confusion there from the Trojans in the backfield.
It's 35-0 with 35 seconds left in the first half. Five touchdowns, all of them on the ground thanks to the rushing game. Liam Stewart end over end. And Stewart continues to be lights out on PAT.
Take a look. That was a direct snap, actually. Good confusion there for the Trojans in the backfield. No one knew what was going on. Great play right there from Coach Dan Buron.
Typically on a play like that, when you see Morrison have that much open space, you're expecting to see something yellow on the field, but give credit to the play calling and to the players.
No, but like in games like this, you can do plays like that. You can draw up plays that you normally wouldn't do because, you know, again, the game doesn't really matter. It doesn't mean anything.
Nice little zigzag there by Hartzell on the handoff.
Thought it was a direct snack, but, you know, you had the triple option right there in the backfield pretty much.
It even confused the announcer.
That's how you know it's such a good play.
So if you're Michael Coppola, the head coach for Newton North, As we see Stewart kick this one away, end over end through Thompson's fingers. And Newton North will start out from their own 32-yard line. If you're Michael Capola, the head coach for Newton North, you're taking your team into halftime here down 36-0. What can you say to have them come out here and play competitively for the second half?
Well, I think one of the best things that coaches can do is you sit your starters and you let the starters watch what your backups are going to be doing. And we saw, to kind of throw a different sport in there, basketball, John, your sport, Roy Williams at North Carolina, he's done this so many times where he'll just go to the end of his bench and he'll let his starters just watch what they're doing. And he'll give them an earful saying, what you're doing wrong. And he said, if you keep doing this, they're going to keep playing over you, and that kind of just lights a fire underneath you.
And very weird to see here, Andrew Landry taking a knee with 26 seconds, but given the circumstances, not exactly surprised there. As the Trojans go into halftime thanks to 5 touchdowns on the ground, 2 of them by William Lombard and 3 of them by Anthony Morrison. And you can say that this game doesn't mean a lot, but to BR, they're coming out tonight showing that this game actually means something to them here. They're continuing to work toward Thanksgiving.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe they had a little bit of a salty taste in their mouth after playing Natick, a team that the past couple of times they played in the postseason handled them very easily when they went up on the road. And I think, maybe that bad taste in their mouth and you come out with a little bit of extra aggression in tonight's game.
You see on the bottom of your screen there is 36-0. We're at the half. We have second half action coming up here from the regional in just a little bit. Back here at the regional, and BR has had themselves quite the night on offense, 36-0. John Luck and Brian Berard back here with you. And Brian, we talked about this during the halftime break. What does Newton North do here down 36-0? It's been a difficult night in the passing game, the running game, even defensively it's been a tough night.
You just got to get back to basics. A lot of Newton North's offense is spread offense. You had 3, 4, 5 receiver sets. Try to do what Bridgewater-Raynham is doing. Just kind of load the offensive line. Just try to establish some power football here, because Bridgewater-Raynham's defensive front has been able to get into the backfield at will. So for Newton North, maybe just come back to basics and just play smash mouth football. And I think especially for BR, you're going to start to see a lot of their underclassmen start to play here in the second half. So maybe Newton North keeps their starters in. Maybe they can get something going here. But I think for the Tigers, get back to basics.
I think defensively for the BR Trojans, Ryan Rubenskis has really been a name that's stuck out in that first half. A couple of key sacks on the Newton North quarterback, Andrew Landry. Landry tried to get those deep drops, and Rubenskis just caught up to him.
What I would like right here for Newton North is they're going to kick off the BR. Maybe try a quick, like a sneak onside kick. Try to get something going. You need to light something underneath Newton North. They've had a couple of turnovers here for Bridgewater-Raynham. And you had penalties, and you had that one turnover. You have to try to get something going to get that little pep in your step here if you're Newton North. I think a great thing to try right here, onside kick.
And we were talking about some of the stats in that first half. We'll start off with you keeping track of some of the team stats. Newton North a couple of first downs on offense, but nonetheless a very tough night really doing anything on offense.
Yeah, really. They had one first down that wasn't because of two first downs that weren't because of a penalty. They really haven't been able to move the ball on Bridgewater-Raynham. It seems like they try to pass the ball. They seem to be kind of a pass-first type of team. The wind's not really helping out. Bridgewater-Raynham is just sitting in that zone defense, and they're struggling just to find any sort of way to break out of it. You got to find that weak spot in the zone. So for Newton North, you got to tell your receivers this may be the exact route you're supposed to run, but it's okay to alter just a little bit if you can find some sort of weak spot in that Bridgewater-Raynham zone defense.
The BR Trojans on offense, Anthony Morrison, 6 carries for 72 yards, a fumble, and 3 touchdowns so far here tonight. But the story of the game, especially in the first half, was the play of William Lombard. 12 carries, 204 yards unofficially, and a couple of touchdowns. He's just been dominant in the first half.
Yeah, he's been able to run with a wide open space. Bridgewater-Raynham has been pitching left and right, getting him in the open field. He sees the hole. He cuts it up towards the middle of the field. He has excellent vision tonight. All their running backs have had excellent vision, especially when they get those pitches and get out in open space. So for Newton North, really quickly, their offensive possessions were punt, INT, punt, end of the first quarter, which then they went into the second quarter, turnover on downs, punt, interception, end of the half.
That's a very nice synopsis there.
All their punts were on 3 and outs, too.
Morrison and Lombard awaiting this kick around their own 11-yard line, and the second half is underway here, and there's that kick there trying to start things off for Newton North.
Did it go 10 yards, though? We're near midfield. Like I said, that's Newton North's come out with the ball here, but we're going to have to see if the ball actually went 10 yards before it was actually touched. But like I said, I like that play. You get the ball to start the second half. You light a fire underneath your team, but we're going to see if Newton North is actually going to start off with the ball here. No, they're not. They're going to say illegal touching did not go 10 yards, so it'll be BR's ball. But I like that play call right there. That's a great play call. You're trying to get the momentum going in your favor.
Kind of a last-ditch effort there by Michael Coppola, the head coach for Newton North. So now the Trojans are going to start from their own 49-yard line, or excuse me, Newton North's 49-yard line.
Tigers will get their 11th defensive player on the field.
Now we're good to go here for BR on offense. First down, the give is to Morrison. Couple yards on the gain. The ball might have come out, but they're going to say that Morrison was down.
Yeah, he kind of had that ball away from his body a little bit as he was getting turned around.
So I said that was Morrison. That might actually be number 35, and it is. James Hollins. My apologies on that.
As you said, Bridgewater-Raynham, they're going to start to sub more and more players in that normally don't get playing time.
Holland again in the backfield. Number 12, Ryan Rennie on the near side. And that one is going to be intercepted. Going back the other way, Alessio Calgani has just put Newton North on the scoreboard.
It was about a 55-yard pick six right there for the Tigers.
Alessio Calgani for the score.
Take a look at the that run. Almost resulted in a fumble.
If it wasn't going to be a fumble, it was the interception, but I don't think the time ever.
So essentially, Newton North got their onside kick. Eventually, it just took them a couple plays to get there.
It's a rocky road to get things going here.
That's called improvising.
We do that kind of well. Now Landry going to go for 2 here. That one is tipped up and knocked away. So the Tigers end up with 6. As we go back and look at the interception, it looks like Hartzell had a difficult time holding on to the ball.
I believe he was trying to find Breheny there. Really wasn't near that ball. Good pick six, open daylight, sees it, goes for it. Good job to pick off that route, though. Sits there, waiting for a pass. He knows it's going to be a pass play. He knows he's going to be a receiver kind of in the area. Bridgewater-Raynham really hasn't tried a deep ball. They've tried one with Matt Buron. Other than that, they've kind of gone short in the flat.
See the referee talking to the kicker there. I can only imagine that he was trying to bring up the onside kick rule if Newton North tries to go for it again here, trying to keep the momentum on their side in the second half. And that one's going to be taken by Luke Payton. Very wise move there just to go down to the ground.
Yeah, I like the call again, going for the onside kick. Try to get any sort of momentum on your side.
So the BR Trojans started off the second half up 36-0. You go back about a month ago, BR had a big lead on New Bedford. During that halftime break, did Dan Bjorn, you think, bring up what happened in that game, reminding their team to keep the foot on the pedal?
I would imagine in every game you say that. We may have a big lead, but there's 2 more quarters of football left to be played. If we can do it, they can certainly do it too.
Brenny was a motion man there as BR working their way close to midfield. I think that was 33, Jacob Spear on the carry.
About a 6-yard gain. But for the Trojans, this is going to sound weird, but let me get to my ultimate point. That pick 6 actually could help them, because you go into the halftime break, you know you are just absolutely having your way with Newton North. Something like that happens, you go, okay, I got to get my head back into this game. It's not going to be a cakewalk for the second half. Obviously, you don't want that to happen, but that is something that can light your team up.
Is that the point? I just wanted to.
That's the point.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt your point. Pitch goes to Holland, and Holland might have gotten a yard on the carry. As we tick down under 10 minutes to go in the third quarter, BR up 36-6. A lot of the regular names have come out here given the score. Morrison, Lombard. Here's a handoff again to Holland.
Nice job. Jack Fitzgerald up front there for the Tigers. Pushed his man off the ball, had his way with him, and got in the backfield.
That's rather Spear on the carry. As now Newton North trying to hype themselves up here, and if they can get a quick score here, things could get interesting here again.
I wouldn't be surprised if Newton North is to pull off another score here if Bjorn goes back with his starters again.
So this is going to be Bjorn kicking away, Matthew Bjorn. As the noise you hear in the background, that is Newton North on the other side of the field. Bjorn, a very nice kick. Goes out around the 16, 15-yard line. And so on offense, if you're Newton North, do you let Andrew Landry continue to throw the ball here, or do you try and mix it up with some running plays?
I try to mix it up with some running plays. As I said at halftime, get back to basics. Try to do some power runs. Try to establish yourself. Said they're going to spread it out again. 4 receivers, 1 in the backfield.
Landry, handoff goes to Morris on first down. Morris gets a couple of blocks, works his way across the 20-yard line up to the 21.
See, that's what Newton North was looking for in the entire first half. When you spread out a defense like that and you get to the edge, when that defense is so spread out, so thin, you can get those 5, 6, 7-yard carries. That's what they were looking for, but Bridgewater-Raynham did a great job of preventing that in the first half.
14 yards rushing on 4 carries for Morris. 2nd and 3. Landry again out of the shotgun as he's been all night long. Has to move out of the pocket and dives for the 24-yard line. Still going to be about a yard or so shy.
And that's a good play right there from Landry. The first half, he had a couple of times where he was trying to scramble, and he was still looking downfield. and he tried to try to force a throw. This time he just takes off and runs with it. We take a look at the replay right here. Again, good coverage right here for the Trojans. He's scrambling. He's not going to try and force something. Just run upfield, protect the ball, dive for first down, or towards the first down. You have a 3rd and manageable here. Playbook's wide open. I'd still say they're going to try and run it right here.
I believe number 5, Rowan Devlin for Newton North, helped off the field. Tigers have a big 3rd and short here in the 3rd quarter. Trips to the far side. Handoff goes to Morris, and Morris will get the first down by about half a yard or so, but nonetheless the drive continues to move for the Tigers.
It's the drive that they needed. You know, even if this takes a lot of time off the clock, you're still establishing some sort of dominance here, and that makes the game somewhat interesting if they're able to get 8 points on the scoreboard here. Obviously, you don't want to take up too much time, but you still want to establish yourself, and you kind of, like I said, bring things back down to basics.
4 receiver set for the Tigers. From their own 26-yard line, handoff goes to Morris straight through the middle for another first down for the Tigers. And, Brian, I mentioned this at the beginning of the game. And against Brockton last week, yes, Newton North got smoked 48-14, but those 2 touchdown drives that they had, a 71-yard scoring drive that took 3 plays, a 74-yard scoring drive that took 4 plays. They can get the ball and they can score quickly, which is always dangerous in the second half of a blowout.
Yeah, absolutely, because we saw in that Bridgewater-Raynham New Bedford game, you thought the game was well in hand, and all of a sudden New Bedford comes back with 28 unanswered points.
That was almost a broken play, but maybe the flag might have bailed Newton North out.
That's going to be a hold on Newton North. That's not going to bail them out. Newton North finally had some sort of momentum going, and all of a sudden now they have to back it up 10 yards. Actually, Coach Byrne's going to decline the penalty. Smart call. It was a loss of 1, so it brings up 2nd and 11.
So you can see here, near disaster for Newton North. I think they'll take the 1-yard loss there instead of having a fumble.
I think that was calling a cross. That was going to be on the hold.
Landry, the pass is complete to the far side to Duncan. Duncan to the far side, across the 40 to around the 41-yard line.
Screenplay right there. Those plays are super dangerous, especially if your receivers can get out and get some blocks downfield, and if you get some linemen downfield to make some blocks. Good job from BR to make sure that it really wasn't a huge play, getting up to only the 41-yard line. It's a 5-yard gain, but that could have been such a big play there for Newton North. Take a look at the replay. There he is out in the flats. You have some linemen there getting some blocks downfield, but instead he goes towards the outside, goes towards that sideline, and Bridgewater-Raynham's able to hold it to about a 3rd and 7 and long.
Landry 4 for 10 so far, 44 yards passing, a couple of interceptions so far tonight. Takes a deep drop, and he's about to get hit again. Number 87, Logan Johnson with the takedown.
He wanted to go deep, but, Bridgewater-Raynham had the 2 safeties there waiting to pounce on an interception. They'll take a look. Good job right here. BR, they only send 4. You get 3 in the backfield. He wanted to look deep, and he knew that he wasn't going to be able to get it off if he tried to throw it, so just go down, take the sack.
So what initially looked like a good drive for Newton North ends up being another punt with 5:40 to go here. Time continues to wind down in the 3rd quarter.
Once again, Newton North, a late sub coming onto the field.
Lombard and Morrison awaiting this kick around their own 25, 30-yard line. Nearly blocked, but it's going to be taken down by Lombard. And he works his way to the 35 before being taken down by a few Tigers.
Corey Gilbert almost got his paws on that one to block it for BR. So a little over 3 minutes taken off the clock there for Newton North. 7 plays easily. That's their most productive drive that they've had all night and didn't result in any points.
So far, the 6 points for the Tigers thanks to the defense. An interception return for a touchdown. Brenny on the near side. Here's a pitch that goes to number 35, James Holland. Picks up a couple yards on the play.
And now all of a sudden we're seeing for BR those pitches to the outside. There's not that big gaping hole anymore that we saw in the first half. And you'll start to see that the defensive linemen for the Tigers, they're going to try and get off their blocks as soon as they can, try to move laterally. If you're Bridgewater-Raynham, that's where you kind of have that fake pitch, kind of a quick hitter to that line fullback. You run up the middle. When you have your lineman moving laterally and your offensive lineman moving upfield, that could really wreak havoc.
Split receiver set here for the Trojans on second down. Handoff goes to Holland. Or excuse me, this is Jacob Spear across midfield. Spear to around the 41-yard line.
What did I tell you? You go right up the middle. You have your linemen moving laterally. Your offensive linemen are just pushing them back. And look at the huge hole. We'll take a look right here. Good push there from the offensive line for Bridgewater-Raynham. They finally were able to get to the edge there. Good run.
24 yards rushing on 3 carries for Jacob Spear so far in the second half. As we tick down under 4 minutes to go. Biron lining up on the near side.
Fumble.
Hartzell lost it.
That's
Newton
good.
North falls on it.
And that looks like a cover.
I think there was a collision with his his fullback there.
Looks like
Oh no, he just dropped it.
involved in that one again.
And going back to that interception that Hartzell had, he had a difficult time holding on to that ball. So we talked about earlier, it is a very chilly night here, so it may make that ball a little difficult to hold on to.
Yeah, absolutely. That ball's going to be way slick tonight, below freezing temperatures.
So can the Tigers capitalize on this opportunity? Thompson and Morris in the backfield along with Landry. Landry going to let this one fly. That is going to be caught. A nice grab.
Wow, that's going to hurt on a night like tonight.
Tyson Duncan with the best reception of the night.
Tyson Duncan on that reception.
A 21-yard reception.
Let's take a look at this. Good zone defense right there. Goes up, gets it. Woo! Ouch.
Trips to the far side. That pass is going to be complete to Duncan again, or rather dropped.
Right through his hands.
That ball was incomplete.
Try to set up that screen pass again. Going out into the flat. Had some blockers out there. Don't know if he really would have gained a lot of yards, though, but
Second and 10 for the Tigers.
Calcagney lines up to the near side. On this second down play, Morris in the backfield again. He gets the pitch from Landry. And Morris works his way to around the 30-yard line, maybe just over.
it's a kind of a sweep there in the backfield. He starts going towards that far sideline, sees a hole, cuts it up, keeps his leg moving. It's a good run.
And around 4 for the Tigers. 3 wide to the left.
And we're going to get a timeout here with 2:33 to go in quarter number 3.
Called by Dan Buron. Didn't really like what he see with his defense. Newton North's able to move the ball a little bit more and more now. Got a couple of turnovers here, trying to get his players back into the game.
Logan Johnson was a little slow to get out the field there. Would have been 12 men on the field. As again, BR will be home next week taking on Whitman Hanson. And then, of course, the Trojans will be the home team in this year's edition of the Cape Cod Cafe Cup, taking on the Brockton Boxers. 10 a.m. kickoff, and of course we'll have replays throughout the day on BTV and btvaccess.com for on-demand viewing later on that week.
And trying to get that Cape Cod Cafe Cup back at Bridgewater-Raynham.
I think it's been, 2 years it's been in Brockton?
They won Brockton won last year, but BR won the year before.
Well, right, but I mean the entire series.
It hasn't. Yes, the 2 complete seasons in Brockton. We got there eventually.
Took a while. Empty backfield for Landry. We do have a flag, and Landry again is going to get hit.
I believe you're going to get another hold here on Newton North. A lot of times, if it's the umpire that throws the flag, it's going to be a holding call.
Again, stopped by Ryan Obenskis.
See the referee asking Dan Biron what he wants to do and maybe even giving him his options.
Yeah, this is either going to be holding or, it's going to be a hold. I think he's going to decline the penalty and take the the 4th down. May have been calling Colin Lacrosse, number 63, the center, on the hold. But, I mean, it looks like the both of them kind of just bear hugging each other.
So it brings up a 4th and long for the Tigers on what has been a difficult night here, getting anything going in a consolation bracket game. Landry gets rushed. He's going to have to throw that one away, but again he gets hit.
Tyler Newman again, just right off the edge, unblocked. No one accounted for him. Just have to get rid of the ball, and we have turnover on downs.
Looks like Landry may actually be limping a little bit there. After getting hit by Newman, a clean hit.
You know, John, to go back to a point we were talking about earlier is kind of how the division layouts have been working here. This is something that literally just popped into my head. And I'm sitting here talking about how there's Division 1, 2, and 3 in the conferences. Newton North played Division 1. Bridgewater-Raynham is playing in Division 2. This doesn't make sense. I mean, I know you're just trying to play to get some experience going, but just this whole system.
Then what division is Whitman Hanson? So BR takes over on downs. Handoff goes to Spear for another short gain as it takes us inside 2 minutes to go. You know, we talk about the playoff issues and all the brackets and different divisions. There's one interesting nugget that came out over the past few weeks that we'll get to after this play here on 2nd down.
Oh, a tease. I like that.
You got to work in a tease here. It's a 30-point game with 1:10 to go in the 3rd quarter. I mean, I think you might already know about it. I might get it wrong, so who knows? We do have a backup quarterback in, as that's Holland, who takes it for another couple yards. That's going to take us inside a minute to go. It came out that Max Preps, the website that is well known for covering high school sports across most of the country, you know, Texas, Florida, California, they're going to be controlling a lot of the standings. So essentially they're going to decide the playoffs. But, you know, you go on their website and there's a lot, nothing there. So you're basically depending on a website that doesn't really cover high school football.
Yeah, it's hard because you have to rely on so many volunteers to report scores. I don't know if Max Preps is going to take over. I think they're going to the style of how Max Preps ranks you. I don't know if they're telling Max Preps you're taking over.
Backup quarterback Nolan DeAndre goes down. That should bring an end to the 3rd quarter, as Newton North does get an interception return for a touchdown, but one more quarter to go here on a frigid Friday night. BR on top, 36-6, getting set for the fourth quarter. And Brian, we talked about it really at the start of the second half here. You're not going to see Morrison and Lombard come out, so really this second half is just kind of trying to get the playing time, figure things out for what happens next week, even next season.
Yeah, absolutely. As we said in the pregame, you get a lot of your underclassmen in there, see what you have for next year, and see maybe some things that you liked in this game that could work against Whitman-Hanson and against Brockton.
Just joining us, 5 first-half touchdowns, 3 of them by Anthony Morrison, 2 of them by William Lombard. Lombard ending his night most likely here with 204 yards rushing on one half a play.
Yeah, decent. A lot of fantasy points, though.
It's going to be interesting to see how Dan Buron uses William Lombard when you get to the Thanksgiving game, which, of course, is really the next meaningful game for the BR Trojans.
So last year, William Lombard was your running back, and you didn't use him in Thanksgiving. And we had Morrison was playing quarterback pretty much the entire season, and then Hartzell went in as a quarterback against Brockton, and they used Morrison more as a running back. So I don't know if you're going to get some position changes again this year for Bridgewater-Raynham, but be interesting to see what they do.
It's always interesting watching Thanksgiving high school football, as DeAndre initially dropped it, but I think caught it off the bounce. And the rest are going to rule him down.
Yards first and 10 for the Trojans.
And you look at what BR has done on offense tonight. Really, I think where this team won this game was really on the defensive side of the ball, causing those turnovers, holding Newton North to, 3 first downs in that first half. Really, the defense won the game tonight for the BR Trojans.
Yeah, the secondary especially, they really weren't allowing Newton North to get anything going downfield on deep balls. And the front for Bridgewater-Raynham, too, getting into the backfield. Everyone in the defense here for BR has done a tremendous job.
Split receiver set to in the backfield. DeAndre sets back and completes the pass over to Matthew Buron.
Nice slant going in for Buron. About 11-yard gain. 12-yard gain. Sixth play of this drive coming up here for the Trojans. There it is. Nice step. Buron fakes to go outside, comes back in.
Buron, a junior receiver for the BR Trojans.
And punter.
Yes. Had a very nice punt in the third quarter that landed around the 15-yard line. Brenny, the motion man. The pitch goes to number 35, Holland. Holland works his way up to the 41-yard line.
There's a nice spin move right there from Holland to get away from a tackler. Nice little hop, too. Cuts in, gets around the 40.5-ish yard line, 41.
It's a gain of around 5 for the Trojans.
Take a look right here. There it is. Good spin. Gets away from one tackle.
Nolan DeAndre at quarterback for the Trojans.
So DeAndre, another sophomore quarterback here. Ryan Brenny is the third-string quarterback, also a sophomore, so a youth movement at that position. Again, Trojans trying to kill off some time here. And off this time goes to Spear. Spear's going to get the first down by a couple of yards.
Second first down here for the Trojans on this drive. Got a nice little drive going right here. A little over 5 minutes taken off the clock here for BR.
While we're in here calling the game inside the nice warm press box, we do have to acknowledge who's upstairs on top of the press box, Jeff Fowler in the wall suit, the snow suit, the one-piece suit.
That could be body armor.
Another split receiver set here for the BR Trojans. As again, this give is to James Holland, and we do have to acknowledge in the truck as well, before we start having a hostile takeover, Mike Moriello and Mary Evers in the truck as well. Actually, I think Mary was responsible for putting up that red zone graphic that you were so impressed with. So.
She hit it once. There was a couple other times she missed it, but, she's a little rusty on the graphics machine, so can't all be perfect like me.
Second down and 11. Just going to let that one kind of roll off the shoulders there. I feel like we always have one cold game that you and me do.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have postseason football.
Anthony Renneria, number 20, lining up on the near side for the BR Trojans. DeAndre with a pitch. This is going to go to Holland. As Holland again works for a couple of extra yards there. Let's take us to the 7-minute mark in the fourth. As again, it's not that BR doesn't want to try and get the yards. They just don't want to run the score up here or try and force any injuries to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But you're trying to establish what you have in your younger guys here, trying to see if they can get the offense going. That's why I think a lot of people love playing these type of games where there's nothing on the line really at all, and you're just trying to find out what you have coming up for next season and beyond.
It's almost like a bonus scrimmage. You see that the last weekend of August. You have a random team come in, play a lighthearted game, but kind of the cold air makes it feel like a playoff game a little bit.
Makes it feel like winter, that's for sure.
That is true. We don't have snow yet.
Saying that word.
DeAndre sets back a high pass. That is going to be knocked away.
How is that not pass interference? Clear face guarding. And I'm pretty sure he had his hand on his helmet, too, as the ball was getting to him.
Intended for Ryan Bredney.
Defensive back never even turns back. Finally does. Completely puts his hand on the face mask. No call there on Khalil Lofton. I mean, again, it wasn't the greatest of throws either, but.
Bridgewater-Raynham, one is on the concession end, and one that goes behind the school. The one that goes behind the school.
So Trojans going to go for it here on fourth down as we go under 5.5 to go. Brenny the motion man, and DeAndre's going to hand this one up. So I believe that's number 8. Connor Chaka. So a turnover on down here for the BR Trojans.
Shouldn't the clock be stopped? Maybe we're just doing a running clock. I'll take it. I like it.
So it's 4.5 to go here. Morris gets the handoff, gets tripped up around the 38-yard line.
You will notice that it is running time, which is a new rule this year.
I like that new rule.
I couldn't really catch it.
A new rule, running clock. Up by 30 points, running clock. I like that. I second that motion.
Could have saved the Dolphins a lot of time as Landry's going to air this one out. That's going to be incomplete. That was number 17, Carlo Cressetti with the receiver there. I believe that was number 2, Tyson Duncan, the intended receiver. I think basketball could pick up on that rule.
They should. Wasn't it the Celtics and 76ers in a preseason game? What did they play with 10-minute quarters?
I'll take your word for it. I mean, preseason basketball.
I know there's a lot of times in college football too. If If it's like a 40-point game, 50-point game, the second half, they'll play with 10-minute quarters too.
Landry completes the pass to Duncan for the first down.
Like you see that so many times in like the Southeast Conference when Alabama plays, some junior college or whatever, they play on Cupcake Week and they're up by 75 in the third quarter.
So if they ever played BC is what you're saying.
Wow. BC did have that rule. I believe it was a few years ago they played Richmond.
Yes.
And they played the 10-minute quarters in the third and fourth quarter. It was great.
Then you get to Gillette Stadium and it feels like the game just whizzes through. Three receivers to the near side here for Landry. Goes this one deep. A flag is thrown. Complete to Dante Atwood. But it's going to be all for naught, most likely.
Yep.
On the reception, Dante Atwood. Was a yellow flag on that play.
So again, the Trojans play Whitman Hanson next week here at the regional. So a schedule where you looked at initially and said, where are all the home games? Here they are here in the second half.
And that game starts at 6 p.m. So we went 4, 5, now 6. Thought maybe Thanksgiving, why not continue the tradition, go for 7, but
7 o'clock on Thanksgiving, no, I can't do that.
Decide we're going to go with the 10 a.m. approach.
Well, then you have turkey early. You'll be asleep for the game. So it's going to be a third and really long here as Landry completes the pass to Timmy Hodgson. And Hodgson gets stopped around the 44.
Good job there from John Buckley just to stop and make sure you get some support there to finish the tackle.
So we're inside our final minute of play here at the regional in a night that has been all about Bridgewater-Raynham football.
It is third down.
Landry on what should be the final play of the night for Newton North on offense. Throws this one. That is going to be complete, well short of the first down, however. And that should be the final play, given the fact the clock continues to wind down in running time.
And that was fourth down. No, it wasn't. I saw a 4 on the far the sticks there. I saw it a 4.
I thought it was fourth down. But it's going to be a moot point in about 8 seconds.
That's going to be the end of the game.
So it may not be a playoff game, but nonetheless, the BR Trojans come out with a big 36-6 victory, Brian. And the running attack for the BR Trojans, very, very impressive.
Yeah, Bridgewater-Raynham did such a good job of doing those pitch plays, getting to the outside, getting around the line of Newton North, and just getting downfield. I mean, it was the linebackers were the first people to really get a lot of their hands on Morrison and Lombard going downfield, and it's just that offensive line for Bridgewater-Raynham deserves a lot of credit, and that secondary for Bridgewater-Raynham deserves a lot of credit tonight too.
So that'll do it here from the regional for the final time. 36-6 BR wins here on a Friday night. Thanks for watching. For Brian Berard, I'm John Luck.